Yeah, dude. There's this. There's a video where it's like everybody after they get a haircut, and it's like the girlfriend calls and like, I don't know you. Who is this? Like just walking around.
Who's this?
And then they get in the rain and all their
like super proud.
And then all the edge cream comes out.
Oh man.
They're sweating in the
It's
club.
like, you try to go work out, Miguel? I was like, no.
The worst part was like in my school, there would always be fights, and there'd be girls like pulling out other girls like leaves.
You see weaves on the floor?
Oh,
all the
oh
time.
my
And then they try
gosh.
to do that to white girls too. Like they try to pull their hair and stuff
Yeah,
like
that
that.
doesn't work with
Dude,
white women.
No, they would go until hair came out.
Oh,
I'm telling you,
my.
there'd be girls like bleeding and stuff like
Oh,
that.
Jesus.
Like my school was crazy.
Yeah.
Dude, I saw a fight between the buses one time where there was like hair pulling.
Yeah.
And like I was like in the buses like when I was a freshman. I was
They're
like,
like,
get over.
cats,
I'm
you
like,
can't pull them apart.
I was so scared of high school for the rest of my life. I was like,
Is that like your
I was like freshman year, like my second day of class, I was like, oh!
Dude, that's what, honestly, like my first year, I made friends with like all the orchestra kids, right? Because I was like an orchestra nerd, so like got in on it. And there's this one girl that like I was like super attracted to. She's like an emo kid, but she was in orchestra. I was like this weird balance, right? Well, the last I think it was like the last month of the first like half of school, we had trimester. So the last month of the first trimester of school, she like jumped over my locker and jumped over my shoulder and pounded this girl's face into a locker and just beat the crap out of her. Yeah. And she straight up, she went to juvie.
She reached over you.
Wait, this emo
Like,
girl
I was
did?
walking in front of her because we were like walking together, just talking. Yeah, and there's this other girl that I guess had like talked
Hold
to
on,
her
did
boyfriend
you
or
start
something like
liking
that.
her a lot more after that?
Oh, like a lot? No, I'm just kidding. She like jumped over, she punched this girl. I couldn't believe it, and there's blood everywhere. And she like pushes me out of the side and just starts beating the crap out of this girl. And I'm just like sitting there watching it, and then all of a sudden, all the like authorities.
Watch it be
over there
about
and
like the
stuff.
dumbest thing. It's like, you ate my apple from lunchtime. It's like,
I knew it
over
was-
an
She's
apple!
like, you're never gonna kiss my boyfriend again. She was yelling at dude. She was screaming and cussing.
Oh,
It was crazy.
shoot.
Yeah. The
Wow.
girl had to go to the hospital. She had like a broken jaw and stuff.
Wow.
It was
Wow.
insane.
Yeah.
I mean, that's like the biggest, like, kick to your face if you fight someone and you win and they don't have to go to the hospital.
Right.
That's true. It's like, how much of a fight?
Go back.
How much of a
It's like,
fight
did you
was
really
that?
fight though?
I feel like you're better friends afterwards. If you
Yeah, that's true. Well, at least among men.
Yeah,
Among men.
Yeah, because I know, like, I'm kind of real. I look at myself as real, so I feel like if like I'm cool with you and I have a problem, like it's like, all right,
I'll tell
like,
you, I'll tell
Yeah,
do you
we
want to
fight,
fight?
we
Like,
dish
should
it
we
out.
fight? Like, and then get it over with, and then like
Yeah.
I'll shake your hand after. Like, it's like I'd rather do gloves because it doesn't, it's like let's just duke this out. Somebody will give us some time, like,
Yeah.
and that's it. Like, it's all right. It's like, all right, now we hug it out and we're done. Like, you punched me, I punched you. Like,
Shoot, it's
I've never been. I've only been in one fight in my life. It was in Japan, and it was like with my best friend in Japan.
Oh, for real.
We were like in middle school, or like elementary school, middle school. I don't even know why we fought. I have no idea. I think it was because I wanted to hang out with someone else, and then it was like that's how bad it was. And we were like straight up brawling on the ground. And then after like 5 minutes, we both got. It's like, this is dumb. We're friends. Like we just hugged it out. But there's been times where it's just like I did tons of like aggressive sports in high school. Like I did like boxing, and I did varsity wrestling my entire time. And like there's been times where it's just like I hope he I hope he fights me. I hope he fights me. And I'm like super stoked about it. I've like played the fight through my mind, and then he says the nicest thing to me. I'm like, I can't. I'm just like waiting for it forever, and then she's like, ah.
yeah.
I feel like this
swelled
is
up anger.
a good intro. So, welcome to the Hook Cast. We got Dee Kei and Miguel.
Hey,
So, I guess we'll start from here. But we're definitely going to use that audio. You know it.
all of it.
All right, so I'm Talon, the host of the Hook Cast.
I tell him.
So, I'm going to have you two introduce yourselves, talk about your journey into music.
okay. So, my name is Miguel. I go by the stage name of Mijo on occasion. I got into music through actually a friend. He heard me singing to this girl in school one day, and he was like, yo, like, you gotta let me write your music and make you famous kind of thing. And then basically we started just hanging out, and he had like a little studio in his garage. Like, it'd be like cold as hell, like we'd be sitting out there like trying to record like something like weird, and then he kind of like moved away, like, because I lived in Westchester, New York, and he was from the Bronx, so he ended up going back to the Bronx. We ended up splitting up, so I ended up just like meeting new people and like, you know, dishing my talents out and just asking like who makes music, and just, you know, something like the MusicHook, just trying to get everybody local together and just make music with them.
So how long have you been doing music now total?
So honestly, it's probably only been like 5 years, and I've probably only been recording music for like my first recorded song I ever recorded was like probably like 4 years ago, like 3 years ago.
Really? Cool.
Yeah. Cause like people like the way I vibe on like their songs and stuff. Like people will hear me in the studio, like, you know, humming to like what they got going on. They're like, wait, like they'll turn it down and be like, can you sing that louder? Like, and I'm like, all day non-stop. They're like, oh, okay, I like that. Ooh. Like I like the vibe you got going on.
Ooh, skirt.
Honestly, like out of all the songs I made, I think I was telling Saxon earlier. Out of all the songs I made, I think my best verse was freestyled. So don't try hard, kids.
Don't try hard.
Don't try too hard.
Don't try too hard.
Off the dome. Right? What about you, DK?
That's awesome. I got into music. I've loved music my whole life, but I started. My friend asked me to join his band when I was a sophomore in high school, and this was like, I'd never really listened to rock. He's like, no, play bass. Like, it's easy. You'll learn it. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'm bored. You know, every high schooler's bored, you know. And I was like, I guess I'm bored enough to do that, so I did.
What's up?
Saudis.
Hey.
So I did, and we ended up. I ended up doing this band thing, and it was kind of fun. And then I started recording music and producing music like from there on out. He had like a microphone and a small setup, home studio setup, so I worked with that and went to his house all the time to record myself and other people in the band and whatnot. And eventually kind of started building more and more. I started doing it for other people. I started doing it for my own house, and now I do it here.
So what is here? Where are we at?
So we're at Cold House Studio currently, which is my current studio, production studio, and recording studio. We work with tons of local artists, and we have a lot of fun. And Ben, who's walking around, is one of the employees here right now, and we have tons of fun recording and working with tons of artists.
So I have a question. I'm not going to ask you to be biased, but who's probably your favorite artist that you've worked with in Utah?
My favorite?
Like, who did you, like, catch that vibe with the most? Like, who did you, like, hear their music and you're like, I think this person actually can make it? Or even if they're already, like, on, you feel like they already have enough fan base already?
I think the difference, I think there is a difference between if I think they can make it versus
favorite.
I think my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite was this, like, soul funk band.
Mm-hmm.
Local band. I'm trying to remember what they were called. There's a song they recorded called Elliptical, and the band name was Jump Monk.
Jump Monk.
Are they
Utah based? Are they
they're Utah based, and they're like super soulful.
Wow.
Oh, wow.
It's really good.
Like old school soulful or like
it's kind of like neo soul.
Neo soul.
So it's like they're basing like, do you know the band Wolfpack?
No.
It's kind of like, it's like Wolfpack is kind of like still old school,
Yeah.
brought back, but they're kind of like really nice harmonies, like new, very modern harmonies, but with like old school, like vintage sound,
vibe,
like way tape saturated drums, like crunchy drums, you know, like
okay.
sampled style.
I get it.
Although they're actually played, and that was really fun. That was my favorite project to work on. I think my other favorite artist is there's a girl rapper.
A girl rapper. Wow.
And she straight up sounds like Nicki Minaj. Saxon's
Was she black?
She's white, dude.
Oh, damn.
She's like this, like 5'8",
You said
5'9", white girl.
Okay, okay.
She's so good.
Yeah.
It is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It is ridiculous how good she is. I'm way impressed. Her lyrics are always like amazing. The way she says it, like the fluctuations or whatever you say of her voice, they're just inflections of her voice are just always spot on.
So that's the real KZ, right?
Yeah, the KYZ.
KYZ,
dude. Yeah, shout out to her. She is amazing, and I think that's also one of my favorite projects to be working on.
So what's some of the music that you do? You work with a lot of artists, but you're a musician. You're an artist yourself, right?
Are you talking about like personal projects?
Personal projects, you know, talk about Motion Coaster, like give a plug for all that.
We all love Motion Coaster.
Yeah,
so Motion Coaster is my personal band. We do like funk pop. So we have a 3-piece horn section. I want to say one of Utah's best bass players, one of Utah's best jazz pop guitar players. one of Utah's best singers. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Absolutely.
Maybe it'd be more accurate if I said one of Utah's highest singers, highest male singers.
Highest sought after.
Sure, whatever. And then, so Motion Coaster, we're trying to release an album. We're recording an album, producing stuff. We're kind of moving forward to more of like a pop R&B funk kind of vibe, and it's a lot of fun. I think that's the best way to put it. Is it's really fun.
Cool.
Yeah. I feel like that's what it's all about, though. Like, that's music. If you're not having fun,
you
could hear. I feel like when people make music, you could hear when they're not having fun,
right? Yeah,
and they're like forcing.
Or you can see it. If you're
you
watching
can see it.
live.
If you're like,
yeah.
I feel like that's like one of the biggest mistakes for like local musicians is when they play live. You're like, oh, and they like apologize on stage.
Yeah, that makes
it's like,
it worse.
I'm sick. It's
Never
just like,
apologize.
That's why I'm low-key glad I go to school for marketing, because I've taken like 3 different presentations class within the 3 years I've been in school. So it's like, never to you don't say your mistake, you don't turn your back to the crowd, like you don't do certain things. And
of course.
So when I see like people do that at shows, I'm just like, this is simple like business, like ethics, like and you're trying to do music, and you think you know it all, and
it's true. It's
those
true.
small mistakes, like
it's true. So that's my personal band. Other than that, like as far as like production and stuff, I mostly produce. Like I kind of have grown into this niche more and more, especially being in Utah. I do hip hop, R&B, funk, soul, a little bit of gospel here and there. But basically, although I am not black, I will say that. I grew up listening to, we were talking about this earlier. I grew up listening to a lot of culturally, there's 2 sides of American music culture. There's the classic American side, classic rock side, and then there's like the Motown side. And what you consider old school is kind of what you brought up in. I grew up on like the Motown side. I grew up loving Stevie Wonder, Michael Jackson, I can go really funky and be like, Sly and the Family Stone, like that's like old school, and like that's what I kind of grew up.
Brown?
James, of course, James Brown, like that's kind of what I grew up to. My dad, he's like young enough where like his favorite artist growing up, and the artist that I grew up listening to, was the Fresh Prince and Eminem. My dad has this like weird respect for Eminem. Well, he once sat me down. Like super Mormon dude, never cussed in his entire life. Sits me down, teaches me a life lesson by showing me the final rap battle in 8 Mile. That was the funniest. It was like, this is really effective, but at the same time, I didn't like that. Coming from me, this is weird. And from my mom, I got like a lot of reggae and a lot of funk music from her, and it was just, I don't know, it's just I kind of grew up in this culture, and I grew up in Chicago where that's kind of norm,
right?
Like you don't on the pop radio stations, it was Usher and it was Neo. It wasn't, the classic rock or rock now, it wasn't as much alt rock, and so that's kind of what I grew up listening to. So being in Utah now, this is my niche. When someone says R&B, I listen to R&B. I don't have to fake it. I listen to it.
That's so important here, especially in Utah, because you have so many rock studios. And we have really good rock studios in Utah, but there isn't much of a niche for the R&B and for the hip hop.
Yeah, that's
and
true.
that's up and coming. Like it's.
Trap music and hip hop is like running the billboards and stuff. It's
absolutely.
It's the new popular music.
Yep.
So
rock has always been trying to like somehow stay on top. Like this, like last year, rock was like, okay, for 1,500 streams includes one bought song. Okay, if you buy a song or if you bought an album, how many times did you listen to your favorite song? You maybe listened to it 30, maybe 50 times if you really love that song.
Right.
But rock to stay on top, because obviously rock, because it's an older generation of people who love the music, so people buy it.
They don't know how to stream.
So they buy it, so nobody's streaming it, right? So they buy it, so that's how they stay on top, because buying it is
Counts
equal to
for more.
1,500 streams. So if you were to really even it out to what it should be, like 50 streams equals one bought song, hip hop is destroyed.
Yeah, no, that's true.
And actually, even with rock trying to be on top, 2017 was officially the first year that rock conceded to hip hop, and hip hop obliterated rock.
That's what I heard.
Yeah. So where do you see music going in Utah?
In Utah?
Yeah.
It can only get better, especially with like the growing population everywhere around us. Like in Provo, it's like one of the fastest growing populations here, and it's like predicted to be a lot more. Salt Lake's getting better, and I feel like the more people are in here, the more diverse it's going to be, and the more diverse it is, the better it's going to be, right? So I feel like there's nowhere to go but up,
right?
In Utah.
Yeah.
And I think it's a lot better than being in like the middle of nowhere, Alabama.
Right.
Yeah. Agreed. I feel like here underground music is like a very popular thing too. Like like when I came out here, like kids were like really showing me like SoundCloud, like rappers, like I personally never heard of Suicide Boys until I came here.
Wow.
Like and their like griminess and like their like style of hip hop was like so different to me, and I was just like, wow, this is like even Lil Peep, like his like emo kind of trap, like I feel like kids listen to like straight like straight trap music that's like on mainstream, and like in New York, like mainstream is just the only thing you hear on the radio, and you hear the same thing over and over again. I feel like here it's kind of like you hear throwbacks, and what the kids are listening to is underground music. So it's kind of like an interesting place.
Just because they're hiding it from their moms. With
exactly.
Like the culture here is everybody buys their clothes from DIs, although everybody has money. Kind of. It's like everybody's super hipster, so of course they go into the local music scene. You know,
hipster transient.
Hipster trap.
Yeah, dude.
Real quick, so for the people that are only going to be watching it on YouTube, they're going to be like cut off right about now. You got anything you want to plug to them? Any upcoming projects? I
want to hear what projects Miguel has. You have stuff going on?
You got anything coming up?
So today I'm actually trying to work with you on a song. It's called Nonstop. It's like an R&B wave, and like I do a little rapping on it, which is a little unusual, I feel like, for me, because I do more singing on songs. Yeah. Which is pretty cool. And I'm actually trying to put out a mixtape. I think it's just going to be like my name, so Mijo. It's just going to be like a Mijo tape, like
by the end of the summer.
Yeah. By the end, I'm thinking like honestly, like in the next like 3 weeks.
Wow. So
and like, because I already have like another tape planned out, like a group tape with like, because I also shout out to Lal and Moros. We have a group called One Tribe, and we opened up 2 weeks ago for like James Zamorman, Jay Warren, Bree Ray. Shout out to all them too. I'm trying to just get my stuff together and work on like the group project, and they went out to do summer sales, so while they're doing their thing, I'm gonna focus on myself, get my own tape out there.
You're the true artist.
And then as soon as they get back, that's when we have a music video we filmed in Vegas, like for like for the hit on that tape. So like we already got a hit, like a banger on there. So it's
that's awesome. Good for you, man.
We just gotta polish everything.
Oh, I can definitely help with that, I think.
Yeah.
And what about you? You said Motion Coaster's dropping an album.
Trying to. I mean, we have about 6 songs ready. We're trying to drop like between 8 and 10. You know. Cool. So we got a few more left that we're trying to write. We keep writing songs. I'm writing songs with Mimi Knowles. Trying to write a song with him, and a few other people that I'm trying to write songs with and produce with, and we'll see what happens. You know, it's kind of fun. And it'll definitely be different from our older stuff. It's a lot more mature.
It's more of a sophomore type thing.
That's good.
Yeah, it's definitely, like before, it's like people can kind of mistake it as like ska maybe. But now it's like there's no mistake. Like we are very pop, like very, when I say pop, I mean like Michael Jackson pop. Right. You know?
So you guys like found your lane. You guys
we've definitely found our lane. And we found our musicians too, because we've switched the musicians a couple times. Okay. And now everybody's like in the same niche. Like,
yeah, that's good. That's how you know you can progress. That's like the spot you can progress after.
Like our drummer and bass player just straight grooves. Like my goodness, they groove so hard, it's ridiculous. And then our guitar player can play like what's his name? Williams. Something Williams, the guitar player for Michael Jackson, where it's just like David Williams. Just like kind of chicken picking and kind of bringing the guitar out to the front. You know. Mm-hmm. And so it's amazing. What we have going now, I think, has a lot of potential.
Cool.
That's lit.
All right, so we're going to end the video right there. Subscribe, like the channel, like the video, and pay attention to our social media. Follow the MusicHook on Instagram, and we'll plug the new album when it drops, and just keep up with it.
All Mijo's links, all Dee Kei's links will be in the bio as well. So.
Yeah.
Catch up.
All right. We'll call that good.
Dude, you guys make me want to do a podcast.
You're acting like you're never wrong. We used to feel a love so strong. Yeah, I guess it's time for moving on. I'm know I'm not that strong, yeah. But now it's time for moving on. But I can't help but think about you. Can't help but think about ya. Hope you don't move on too soon. Can't be myself without ya. Just call my cell, I'll meet you. Can't help but think about ya. Hope you don't move on too soon. Can't be myself without ya. Just call my cell, I'll meet you.